Hey everyone, welcome to Just Saying. I'm John, the film buff.
I'm Brandon, the film purist.
We're going to be following the Academy short list as they come out and kind of putting our thoughts on it. So far, they have the makeup short list, the potential runners-up for...
I wasn't sure if they had released any of the other ones, so I kept looking, and literally this was the only one I could find. So that's the one we're going to talk about right now.
Yep. Alright. The first film on the short list for Best Makeup is Hitchcock.
Hitchcock is, of course, starring Anthony Hopkins as the famous director Alfred Hitchcock. Have to say, I'm not... I think they did a good job on his makeup and everything, and I think maybe the voice and everything was really well done. But with it all, he doesn't really look like Hitchcock, per se. He has the body of Hitchcock, just the face just looks completely different to me.
Well, that's kind of why I think this one's a weird choice, because the prosthetics in this and the makeup didn't look anything special. It looked actually pretty standard. It kind of reminded me of Sean Penn's makeup in Gangster Squad. His makeup, it looks good. It looks convincing, but it's nothing special. So I would not pick this one if it were up to me.
Neither would I. Just saying that. Moving on. The Hobbit. Now this is, of course, following up The Lord of the Rings with all their makeup and special effect, Academy Award nominations. Hobbit is, of course, the natural next step because they're using the same prosthetics as they did in Lord of the Rings, which I think is fair enough. They had a lot of dwarves that they had to do. There's a lot of prosthetic work, a lot of makeup work that had to be done in here. So I can honestly say I am very happy that they did nominate this one, and it's not really a surprise that they nominated this one.
I do have my actual... I think a lot of the makeup in The Hobbit was pretty good. I believe they used a lot of the same people and everything from The Hobbit carrying over from Lord of the Rings. But some of the makeup choices were just really off. The Hobbits, they looked more cartoonish in the sense they looked... this is just part of how they filmed it, but taller, but their feet were just ginormous. In previous films, they just kind of had this latex thing that went over their foot. In this one, they had like clown-sized feet almost. The fatter dwarf looked a little too cartoony and cheesy for me. I think the rest of them, Theoden, Gloin, I mean, they all looked very convincing. It was a great job all around. So... this one's definitely one of my higher picks, even though I do have my issues with it.
Yeah.
The next one, Les Miserables.
I'm usually not a huge fan of musicals.
Neither am I.
This is one that, as soon as I saw the trailer for, I am very interested in seeing. I have not seen it yet, but it's on my list of things that I definitely have to see in theater, because I'm very excited about it. As for makeup on it, though, I'm not so sure. They had those things, like the ashen faces and the way of making look people different. But as for really any strides in makeup, I wouldn't say there's too many in this one. I can say I'm okay with it being nominated. There's nothing wrong with the nomination for it, but it's definitely not. I think it's guaranteed to not win. Nomination's fine, but I don't think there's any chance, especially when compared to the other ones that it's up against.
I actually disagree. I think this one I might actually put up for to win. And the reason is again, in The Hobbit you had a lot of the prosthetic works, and you did have a lot of, scars and such. There was a lot from, haircuts to, the facial hair, scars, the ash, dirty faces. Everyone's face looks very, very stressed. I mean, I actually think the makeup, in a different sense than, fantasy makeup you would see in, An Unexpected Journey, I think for Les Miserables might actually have it win it.
The next on the list is Lincoln. Now, this is one that I think has a pretty darn good chance of winning it. For nothing else, Daniel Day-Lewis's transformation into Lincoln, which is an excellent transformation. It is, as opposed to Anthony Hopkins' transformation into Hitchcock, this one Daniel Day-Lewis, if you look at a picture of Daniel Day-Lewis and look at a picture of Lincoln, it looks pretty dead on. There's a few, you know, of course, a few little things that are not quite there, but overall, you could really pass. He really passes off as Lincoln, and I would put this one up as a chance to win as well. No, I think it will be this one and The Hobbit for which one's going to win out of all the selections.
I'm actually not very. I don't know much about Lincoln. I unfortunately didn't get to see it or see many of the shots or anything. I do buy that Day-Lewis can kind of lose himself into a good Lincoln. Part of that's just because he's such a phenomenal method actor. So let's move on to the next one. Men in Black 3. I saw Men in Black 3, and I have to say, I mean, there was a lot of prosthetic work, a lot of CGI, a lot of conventional makeup. I thought, for lack of a better word, it was absolute shit.
Yeah, this is one that I have no idea what this one is even doing being nominated. I guess, you know, we can say with Josh Brolin's transformation into a young Kay, that really worked out, you know, he could do the voice and all this other stuff, that worked out fine. But overall, I have not ever been impressed with the Men in Black movies, the makeup or even the CGI or anything. I've never been impressed with anything that they've done.
Next is Looper.
Looper. This one, as I said, I am very happy to see this one nominated. The prosthetics that they did for Joseph Gordon-Levitt turning into a young Bruce Willis were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. When we both first heard about, you know, Looper and that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was going to play young Bruce Willis, we were both like, eh. We saw some images and we couldn't really see the prosthetics too well, and it didn't look anything like a young Bruce Willis, so it's like, eh. And then when we actually saw the trailer for it, I can safely say both of us were very impressed with the prosthetics of turning Joseph Gordon-Levitt into Bruce Willis.
Now, to kind of play devil's advocate, prosthetics I actually were surprised. They were a lot better than I thought they'd be. But I can't really speak for any of the makeup outside of Joseph Gordon-Levitt and his prosthetics to look like Bruce Willis. Outside of that, I don't think there was anything really too impressive. I mean, I guess, you know, these other movies, I guess you can say the same thing, you know, like Lincoln and such, it's mainly just one character. But, so I don't know. I don't know if it impressed me enough to say that I would pick it to win. And then the last one on the list is Snow White and the Huntsman.
No idea what this one's doing on here at all. No clue. Not even in the least. The fact that, and he said, I didn't see it. I refuse to see anything with Kristen Stewart in it. That's me. Because no matter what, guaranteed to have terrible acting from at least one character. I guess there's a few characters who really needed some advanced makeup with it, but overall it just seems like your typical, you know, get the face looking clean, get the face looking dirty. It just looks like pretty average makeup. It doesn't look like anything too advanced. Anything that they were really doing advanced looked like it was CGI. So I really have no idea why this one is being nominated at all.
What's interesting is usually you do see and off the cuffs movies winning, and B, you know, weird movies getting on the list, but it's usually because award shows I tend to not be a big fan of because they seem like almost popularity contests, like, oh, best picture. It's like, yeah, this is a popular movie, but its picture was nothing in compared to this, you know, lesser popular movie. So sometimes I'm like, okay, that's how that movie made it on there. I still don't understand how, you know, even with that in mind, how Snow White or Men in Black 3, for that matter, made it onto this list.
And I will say, just as a quick thing with that, I feel like the Academy Awards are definitely political. Without a doubt, they are political. But I would say they're less of a popularity contest than anything, like the MTV Movie Awards and all the other ones.
Right.
The MTV ones is pure popularity contest.
I think political was more the word I was looking for than...
Definitely, it's because if it was more of a popularity contest, films like The Artist would not have won, and so on and so forth.
This is true.
So they do, if no, I am a fan of the Academy Awards. And while I don't think they always pick the best movie of the time, for instance, Saving Private Ryan losing to Shakespeare in Love, and Apocalypse Now losing to whoever won in that year, and Citizen Kane losing to whoever won that year. These are all, like, these 3 movies are in what I would say probably my definitely top 20 movies, probably even top 10 movies of all time, and yet...
And you wouldn't be the only one thinking of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would agree on those platforms.
So, while I'm not saying that the Academy is flawless in any sense of the word, I usually find that from an artistic standpoint, they do a relatively good job. But you always get these movies that make no dang sense of what they're doing on there from an artistic standpoint, popularity standpoint, any standpoint at all. You just don't know what they're doing there.
So my final picks, I can narrow it down to 2. I personally think An Unexpected Journey and Les Miserables are my 2 picks.
My 2 picks are The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and Lincoln.
So, I have a feeling, I have a really strong feeling for The Hobbit. I actually will be surprised if The Hobbit doesn't win. And that's almost more of a political thing than just the actual movie, but that's a...
I will be less surprised, but still a little bit surprised.
Alright, so there's that. So yeah, we'll keep adding new videos as more short lists kind of materialize. And you may disagree, but that's just what I'm picking. I'm just saying.